Transport Canada is freezing rebate payments for Tesla until each claim is individually investigated.
Mark Carney campaigning in Windsor, the heart of Canada's auto sector, at a moment of crisis.
Donna, vehicles are Canada's second largest export by value at $51 billion. The vast majority of those, 93%, go to the U.S.
Tesla is shaken by a multi-million-dollar shock move from Canada. Is the golden age of electric vehicle giant Tesla coming to an end? Tesla, the most popular brand in the electric car world, is now being dragged to a brand new turning point with a stunning crisis with Canada. Things have not been going well for Tesla lately. On the one hand, there are US President Donald Trump's new tariffs, and on the other, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's retaliatory moves targeting Tesla. What is happening in the global automotive industry is not only closely related to Tesla's fate, but also to the future of trade wars. In retaliation against the tariffs imposed by US President Donald Trump, the Canadian government removed Tesla from electric vehicle, EV, incentive programs in the country and froze the company's past payments. This development threatens Tesla's future in the North American market and puts pressure on the company's shares and investor confidence. But this move is not just a matter between Tesla and Canada. Global supply chains, US-China rivalry, European regulations on electric vehicles, and the general state of the automotive industry are the decisive factors behind this incident. So, how did one of the world's largest electric vehicle manufacturers get caught in the middle of such a diplomatic storm? What were the moves that led to the company's exclusion from Canada's EV incentive programs? And could the Trump administration's new tariffs upset the balance of the North American automotive market? With the world economy looking on, what options does Tesla have? And how will global trade wars affect not just one company, but the industry as a whole? We explore the answers to all these questions and the background to the Tesla-Canada tensions. Tesla, a company led by tech billionaire and close Trump advisor Elon Musk, is America's electric car giant and a brand that has pioneered the global adoption of electric vehicles. But in the process, it often comes into conflict with regulators. The latest crisis is with the Canadian government. A billion-dollar process in Canada's taxpayer-funded EV incentive program, combined with CEO Elon Musk's political interference and new US tariffs on Canadian goods, has led the country to take a hard line against Tesla. The Canadian government not only blocked Tesla from receiving incentives altogether, but also cancelled a $43 million rebate. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney called President Donald Trump's auto tariffs on Canada an attack and called an emergency cabinet meeting.
President Trump announced 25% tariffs against our auto industry. And this is a direct attack, to be clear, a direct attack.
On Thursday morning, March 27th, he posted, "I have convened the Canada National Cabinet Committee, and we are taking steps to counter President Trump's attack on our workers and industries." Carney emphasized that they will overcome this crisis and build a stronger, resilient economy. The final straw was Tesla's massive application just after Canada announced that the budget for its incentives for zero-emission vehicles, IZEV program, was about to run out. The request for 43.1 million Canadian dollars, $30 million worth of subsidies, caught the attention of government officials. Moreover, Tesla allegedly sold 8,653 vehicles in just 4 Canadian dealerships in one weekend. This meant that a car was sold every 30 seconds. The Canadian Automobile Dealers Association argued that these sales were unrealistic and that the system was being manipulated. Transportation Minister Chrystia Freeland launched an investigation and suspended all payments. This decision is a sharp blow to Tesla's financial strategies and has led to increased trade tensions between the US and Canada. But it wasn't just the trade war, but also Tesla's aggressive incentive strategy. Tesla has recently dramatically increased the number of applications to maximize EV incentives in Canada. The number of applications skyrocketed from 300 to 5,800 in a short period of time. The Canadian government considered this as manipulating the system and removed Tesla from the program. In fact, this was not Tesla's first move to use incentives to its advantage. In 2019, at the start of the IZEV program, the Tesla Model 3 had to meet a price limit of $45,000 Canadian dollars to be eligible. However, the Model 3 SR Plus version Tesla was selling in Canada at the time was $52,900. As a solution, Tesla artificially launched a compliance model with a price tag of $44,999. This model only offered a range of 94 miles, 151 kilometers, which was unacceptably low by Tesla's standards. But thanks to this move, the company was able to receive millions of dollars in IZEV incentives. Canadian taxpayers unwittingly subsidized Tesla purchases to the tune of 115 million Canadian dollars. Since 2019, Tesla has become the largest EV incentive recipient in the country, claiming a total of 713 million Canadian dollars worth of incentives. But this aggressive strategy caught the attention of the Canadian government and became a cornerstone of the current investigation. So what is Trump's real goal? How does he want to shape the US with new tariffs? On Wednesday, March 26th, US President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on imported cars. Moreover, he emphasized that the decision is permanent, once again demonstrating his tough stance on trade policies. Trump not only announced the tariffs, but also made it clear that if the European Union cooperates with Canada, he will impose much larger punitive tariffs. So what is behind this move? According to Trump, the aim is to boost American car production and free the US from its dependence on foreign parts. However, economists and industry experts argue that these tariffs could have negative consequences. While Trump aims to encourage production in the US with these tariffs, it could have the opposite effect for many automakers, because even American car brands source many critical components from abroad. The new tariffs could increase their production costs, reduce their profitability, and ultimately slow sales. Manufacturers such as General Motors, Ford, and Tesla, which are particularly dependent on the global supply chain, may be forced to raise their prices due to rising costs. This could weaken the competitiveness of companies and reduce the purchasing power of consumers. According to the plan set by the Trump administration, new vehicle tariffs will start to be collected on April 3rd. Following this process, it is rumored that the trade wars may intensify and the position of the US in the global automotive market may be seriously affected. In short, Trump's move, although it aims to increase US production in the short term, may spark a process that will challenge both American automotive giants and global trade balances in the long term. So how are Tesla's shares doing after all these tensions? Recently, Tesla has been experiencing serious declines in both stock values and global sales figures. The economic and political obstacles faced by Canada, Europe, and the US directly affect the company's financial performance. Tesla's stocks have shown great fluctuations in recent weeks. On March 25, 2025, the share value rose 12%, the strongest rise in recent times. However, despite this rebound, shares are still trading 44% below their all-time high in December. The Canadian government's decision to exclude Tesla from its electric vehicle incentive programs hit the company's stock market performance hard. Following this decision, Tesla shares fell 5.6% to $272.06, breaking below critical technical levels. As a result, Tesla's market capitalization suffered a significant decline. Global trade tensions caused Tesla shares to follow an unstable course. On the other hand, Tesla's European sales are also declining rapidly. Tesla's European sales fell sharply in the first 2 months of 2025. In January and February, new car registrations fell 47.1% to 11,743 units. This reduced the company's share of the European market from 2.5% to 1.4%. Not only commercial but also political reasons played a role in this decline. Elon Musk's political outbursts and controversial statements in Europe drew reactions across the continent. His support for the far-right AfD party in Germany and his interventions in UK politics damaged Tesla's image in Europe. In addition, the aggressive pricing strategies of Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers and new models from European brands challenged Tesla's competitiveness. The EU's new carbon emission standards and possible additional taxes on imports from China further complicate the company's strategy in the region. While all these developments push Tesla into a difficult period in Europe, the company needs new moves to maintain its position in the region. However, while Tesla's sales in the US are declining, the balance is shifting in the global market. In 2024, Tesla's sales in the US market experienced a significant decline. While the company's global sales remained largely flat, the number of new Tesla vehicles registered in the US fell by 11% in January. While rival brands increased their sales, Tesla's models, particularly the Model 3, Model X, and Model S, were the hardest hit by the downturn. According to 2024 data, Model 3 sales fell 17.4% to 189,903 units. Model X sales decreased by 19.8% to 19,155 units. Model S sales fell 31.2% to 12,426 units. In contrast, Model Y maintained its sales with a relatively stable performance. Despite the decline in the US, Tesla achieved a significant exit with Cybertruck. It also maintained its strong position in the global market. In 2024, the company delivered 1.79 million vehicles worldwide, very close to the previous year's figure of 1.81 million. This shows that international markets largely offset losses in the US. Although sales are down in the US, Tesla continues to lead globally. By 2025, the company is expected to restabilize in the US market and make up for these losses with new models. So, is all this data a risk or an opportunity for Tesla? Tesla's share price fluctuations reflect investors' concerns about the company's future. However, some investors see these declines as a long-term buying opportunity. The company's leading position in the electric vehicle market and its investments in autonomous driving technologies keep hopes alive that Tesla can recover in the future. However, Elon Musk's controversial leadership style, political outbursts, and aggressive pricing strategies indicate that the company is on a path full of uncertainties. On the other hand, Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers BYD, XPeng, and NIO threaten Tesla's market share with their low-cost models. These companies are suppressing Tesla sales in Europe and North America, indicating that global competition is getting tougher. Tesla has to contend not only with technology and production strategies, but also with political and economic fluctuations. In the coming period, both government policies and global automotive trends will be the most important factors determining the company's trajectory. What do world leaders say about these developments? Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva reacted strongly to the US trade policies. I have serious concerns about the behavior of the American government. Free trade is suffering and multilateralism is weakening. Global trade will be negatively affected, Lula said through an interpreter. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen also expressed regret at the US decision and said the European Union would protect consumers and businesses. Hildegard Müller, president of Germany's Auto Industry Association VDA, said the tariffs would put pressure not only on manufacturers, but on every point in the global supply chain. This decision will have negative consequences for consumers, especially in North America. The consequences will hurt growth and prosperity across the board. German Economy Minister Robert Habeck emphasized the need to support the European Commission in the negotiations. We must adopt a solution-oriented approach to avoid being dragged into a tariff spiral with the US. Tariffs ultimately harm both the US and the EU, and even global trade. The US decision is being closely watched not only by political leaders and economists, but also by all actors in global trade. In Canada, on the other hand, the reaction to Tesla has crossed borders. In different parts of the country, protests and acts of sabotage against Tesla dealers have begun. At a Tesla dealership in Ontario, more than 80 vehicles had their tires slashed and bodywork scratched. In Montreal, protesters sprayed paint on the exterior of another Tesla dealership and then staged a sit-in in front of the building. At the heart of these protests is Elon Musk's support for Trump and his stance that runs counter to Canada's policies prioritizing domestic production. Canada, on the other hand, sees Tesla as part of its strategy to protect the country's economy by excluding it from national electric vehicle incentive programs. Finally, let's talk a bit about Tesla's future and possible scenarios. Tesla could take legal action against Canada's decision, citing international trade rules, which would make its exclusion from incentives an unfair practice. However, the Canadian government seems determined on this issue, and it seems difficult for the process to turn in favor of Tesla in the short term. Tesla may review its production and sales strategies. It may restructure its supply chain in North America and try to build better relations with the Canadian government. It may also strive to regain lost market shares in China and Europe with a more aggressive pricing policy. Tesla's strategy in this process will also shape the company's global future. If the company lowers its prices to compete with Chinese manufacturers, its profitability may decrease, and it may face financial difficulties. However, it could also choose to protect its brand value by focusing on the premium electric vehicle segment. These latest developments are an important turning point that will determine not only Tesla's position in Canada, but also how global trade wars will shape the automotive industry. How Tesla manages this process and shapes its relationship with Canada will be one of the most critical factors that will determine the company's future and global market position. In the coming weeks, we will see the developments between Tesla and the Canadian government and how the US will react to this situation. So do you think Tesla can get out of this crisis? Or is the company's golden age coming to an end? Let's meet in the comments. Thank you for watching us.